I watch the top 10 videos that come up on YouTube search for when you type in how to sell on Amazon FBA. And in my video, I'm going to include 3 things that have not been mentioned. Hi, it's Bimpe, and I started my Amazon journey doing retail arbitrage towards the end of 2018 and then moved to private label in 2019. In order not to make this video too long, I'm also going to do an ebook that goes through all the processes that I went through, because I did document my process. Have a look at that and make an informed decision before you decide to shed out, hundreds on an expensive course, or go along with it by yourself and make common mistakes that, although you can go through YouTube, but not everything is shown on YouTube as well. I would also talk about the things that I would do differently, some of the costs and things you need to consider as you're starting your Amazon private label journey. And also towards the end of the video, I'll talk about some of the things that I've not seen mentioned on the top 10 YouTube videos. So first question, is Amazon FBA worth it? Well, I would say, in my opinion, that it is worth it. Private label, that's what I did. It is absolutely worth it. Retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, that's a bit time consuming. Possibly going to wholesale on Amazon, which isn't something that I've done, but I will look into it in the future. When you start on Amazon, it's important that you understand your business model that you want to do, and you understand the mindset that you're going into it with. It's so important that you get that clear from the get-go, so that you don't spend money and waste time getting it wrong as well. So the one that I did was private label, and the big mistake that a lot of people do in private label is they go in, they find a product that's selling really well, and what they do is they go to Alibaba and find that same product and ship it straight into Amazon and expect the product to sell and do really well. The problem you have with that is that you enter into a bargain war, basement bargain, or what do you call it, trying to get to the lowest price. It's not good if you're going to do private label and just copy your product. I would not recommend it. If you're going to do private label, it's so important that you think solution. What solution am I solving with this product? Don't think product, think solution. And differentiate. Branding is so important as well when it comes to private label. So again, because it is costly to start up private label, you do need a few thousands, a couple thousands to start it up. And also you would need some money to pay for a good course and a good mentor as well. There's things that are not shown or said immediately straight away on YouTube or on the first sort of set of videos that I've seen, but they are obvious when you Google it. For example, inspecting your product on site before it leaves the factory in China. There are English speaking inspection companies out there that you can use. I know Alibaba does recommend inspection as well, or offers some, but for me that's like trusting the fox to look after the chickens. And so I would preferably find an independent inspection company. So you don't really see that on YouTube. Another one is looking at cost of customs. I remember when I brought my first shipment in, I paid for everything, did all my cost analysis and worked out how much profit I would make. It landed here in the UK and I got told I need to pay custom fees. I was like, what? No one said that to me. I didn't hear that anymore. I had to experience that. So in order not to spend too much money or waste money, I recommend that you do a test batch. So a test batch is where you get like 50 of your products in Amazon and sell it, see how they perform before ordering like a really, really big batch, 500 or 1,000 even, I mean, if you can't do that, because I do know there are minimum quantity amounts when you go onto Alibaba, do see if you can get at least samples of the product as well to check the quality, check that it says what it says, because you could lose money with people, customers returning it, because that's what they can do on Amazon. If you get too high a return rate, it affects your account on Amazon as well, which is something that you don't want to do. So other costs that come up include hiring professional services. I mean, I know in this day and age you can use your phone and take the picture yourself, but if you want to stand out from the rest of the competition, differentiate yourself, this is how you beat the competition, you do want to spend a bit of money on getting the pictures done professionally, or go onto Fiverr.com and getting maybe the product image rendered as well. Keywords, you know, you're paying for that, paying for software as well that you'll need to do your searches as well. Those things are really important. Also, an accountant as well, you know, getting an accountant, because I think I did about £14,000 revenue, and you know, it was me going through all the numbers and stuff. It's just too much. So some of the hidden costs as well you need to think about, that I suppose are like a given, like a duh, but when you're a complete noob like I was, you're not thinking about that. You're just thinking about how to make money, how to sell on Amazon. You're not thinking about all of these other costs as well, especially if you don't already own a business, you're employee minded, or you know, worked as an employee, you're just starting out as a entrepreneur hustling as well. These are some of the things that I didn't think about as a complete noob. There are also unplanned costs as well, like delays. Like, for example, the factory, they produced my product, and they produced the wrong color green for my product. It was like a mint green, whereas I wanted a more leafy, bamboo-y type green. That delay cost me time because they had to redo it, and they wanted to charge me for the fact that they made a mistake. That cost an all-out fight, because I was like, this was when I had to do a reorder. So I thought, you know, hey, I've sold out my first batch, and I'd ordered another batch of 500, and they made a mistake, and you know, and I was like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that mistake. You guys need to get the color right. So even though, okay, I didn't pay money in terms of the cost of their mistake, but I paid in times of I'd run out of stock, and that's one of the things that you don't want to do. You do not want to run out of stock, and that delay, shipping time, add-on time with the mistake that they made cost me as well. Other things to consider, which this has been mentioned on quite a lot of the YouTube channels I watched in the top 10, are like Amazon fees. You know, they charge you for storage fees. Got the professional seller charges as well. If your product sits too long on a shelf there as well, you get charged. So even though they say, you know, make sure your product is light and, you know, doesn't weigh too much so that you don't get charged too many fees. If your product is sitting in an Amazon warehouse for too long, like more than 3 months or so, you start to get charged fees as well, which is not good. Now, all of this, I'm saying it because I want you to go in with your eyes wide open as well. So when I do Amazon private label, again, what I'm going to do differently this time is have more than one product. I should have had at least a minimum of at least 3 products. And one of the things that impacted me was COVID. When COVID hit and people were losing jobs, not that many people were wanting to spend, you know, 30 quid on this luxury item for a child. Also, here in the UK, we had Brexit. My largest market was in Europe. I was making sales in Germany. In Germany, they loved my product. But with Brexit happening and Amazon changing their terms and conditions and ways of doing stuff, I hadn't quite worked out ways to send my product into the warehouses in Amazon in Europe. So previously, Amazon would just do it for me. And then with the changes with the EU legislation, there's all these forms and customs and things I had to fill out, sort out various tax in the EU as well, and it was just became a bit of a palaver. So what I'll do differently now is I'll definitely start selling in the US and get myself up to speed, up to scratch on the changes and what I need to do to make sure I can sell in Europe again. And another thing I will do that I recommend you do, and which is also why I started this YouTube channel, is accountability. When things got a bit of a struggle with the Brexit, I had accountability, I would have continued with it and just pushed through those barriers and you know, made it through to the other end. So if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll have more details, more information, mainly on planning, accountability updates on the side hustles that I'm doing, and the goals that I want to reach. I will give you information on how you can achieve your goals as well. Tools and software that I'm using to help monitor and track my progress, which you can also use as well. So as promised, 3 things that are not mentioned in the top 10 videos that come up when you search how to sell on Amazon FBA beginner's guide is importance of branding, how to differentiate from the competition, and also importance of keywords as well. They're the 3 things that are not mentioned. I will go into more detail in the book that I'm writing. So you can have a look at the book and make a decision on whether it's something that you want to continue into, going with your eyes wide open as well. Please have a look in the description box for more resources that I have available for you. Thank you so much for the time that you've invested, and I will see you again.